Hey guys, I'm currently flying at terminal velocity through the air, so I'd appreciate it if you'd sub. I'm almost at 400. Also, join my Discord server down below. Okay, bye.
I'm gonna show you how to do the stim glitch after patch. It is super easy to do, and I'm gonna...
Is this game worth it? Does that answer your question?
We gotta get this train right back on track, real quick like.
That's right, we all have that attitude. The train will be rolling in no time. Let's do it.
Will I get bored playing this game?
Sometimes.
Will I get bored playing this game?
No.
Video games. A media that's been around for about 60 years now and has brought countless hours of enjoyment to millions of people all across the world. Video games have and will always be a major staple in media for a very long time, ending either because of the impending apocalypse or because Elden Ring got delayed another 4 years. But for the foreseeable future, video games are pretty important. For example, without video games, my channel wouldn't exist. It's the main reason I get to make videos to hopefully entertain all of you. So obviously, as any rational person would think, to keep up with the times, video games would be gradually improving over time, right? In some ways yes, but in others not so much. Hype is one of the things that can make or break a game on release. If you have too much hype, your game has standards set for it that are completely unrealistic or achievable in the developer's current time frame. If you have too little, no one is going to know what your game is about and it'll simply sit on the Steam store untouched. Of course you'll have exceptions like indie games that blow up by chance, but overall, hype can be a double-edged sword. It's obvious that when making a game, the people buying it are going to have expectations about the game, but those expectations have to be believable. If you tell the gaming community that your game is going to involve you fighting giant sea creatures in a mech suit, people are going to get excited for that, because that sounds awesome. But then if you reveal it's actually about an alcoholic father knife fighting the lobsters at the SeaWorld buffet, people are going to be disappointed, because that's not what was promised in the first place. The most prominent example of hype hurting a game was with Cyberpunk 2077. Cyberpunk was a case of unrealistic expectations from the gaming community, the devs pushed to the breaking point, and hype built up over 8 years. Personally, I thought it was just going to be an average game, and it looked pretty fun, and it was. But I saw people who genuinely thought that this game would be the second coming of video game Jesus, and how this game was going to change how we see games forever. And to think that this was it, that this would be the game that changed the gaming scene forever, was an idea that would ultimately be met with disappointment. But hey, the brain-dead fanbase gave it positive reviews anyway because CD Projekt Red fans have brains with the consistency of a 7-Eleven slushie. As we all know, it's hard for a game company to put out a quality title every year, even though the fans expect it regardless. Companies are under constant strain from making games, so keeping a franchise alive and well to where they can consistently rake in cash can be a bit of a challenge. But in recent years, companies have cracked the secret money cheat code, which is that the average consumer is a complete moron. If I explain to the average COD fan that they don't have to buy every single COD game each year, their walnut-sized brain would collapse in on itself because such knowledge was completely unknown to them. I have no problem with COD, and I thought Modern Warfare was pretty fun, but I'm not stupid enough to buy a $60 shooter that has less content than the game that came out before it. If you use your specialized detective skills, you might notice how games seem to have less and less content on launch with each year that goes by. Companies have realized how stupid the average consumer is, and combined with corporate greed, now know that they only have to do the bare minimum for us to be satisfied. I mean, have you ever seen a Call of Duty game in the last 10 years where the story isn't some generic plotline about a doomsday device involving Russians, Middle Eastern people, or Spec Ops where the protagonist developed severe laryngitis 5 minutes before the game started? Me neither. And the fact that there are currently 28 FIFA games out really says something about the people who buy these games. There's absolutely no need for new sports games every year because it's pointless. There aren't real-life patch notes for soccer, the only thing they can add is more players and more scummy microtransactions. But the way to break this cycle of less and less quality is simple. Just stop buying the games. But we all know that isn't going to happen anytime soon. I genuinely have no idea who goes to IGN for an actual review of a game, because basically no one takes them seriously. These days you'll see people make fun of game journalists a lot, myself included, because of the ridiculous reputation they've gotten over the years. And from what I've seen, there's one outstanding reason why game journalism has been in decline for several years now. They're incredibly biased. Bias is something that is very common within game journalism, which is something you should usually try to avoid. YouTubers can get away with it because the entire point of their channel is to say whether they liked a game or not. But when working for an organization like IGN or Kotaku, you have to keep your overarching opinions to yourself and keep your focus on the central topic. But some critics seem to not understand this, giving personal opinions rather than focusing on the game's quality, while nitpicking things they don't like. In my opinion, paid online is one of the scummiest marketing tactics to ever exist besides pay-to-win microtransactions. Xbox started the trend in 2002 when the goblins working in Bill Gates' basement realized they could get more money for online after already charging $300 for a console. Soon, PlayStation followed through with PlayStation Plus, similar to Xbox Gold, then so did Nintendo. Unfortunately, Nintendo had no idea how to run servers, so the entire Nintendo Online service is run by 40 hamsters somewhere in rural Bangladesh. Locking online features behind a paywall not only hurts the consumer, but your integrity as well. Xbox, being greedy as always, even tried to raise the price of the Xbox Gold subscription recently but quickly backed out after backlash. This goes to show how willing these companies are to screw over their customers just to make a quick buck. So it seems our only option is to go nuclear. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you later.